Alright, so the first section you're supposed to circle the solutions that are true. So x is less than or equal to 9. Which ones work there? A, B, C, very good. 4 is less than or equal to 9. 9 is less than or equal to 9. And 7 is less than or equal to 9. 12 is not, so don't circle D. Alright, number 2. X is greater than 0. So 4 works, right? And that's it. Remember, when it doesn't have the line underneath, it's not or equal to. So 0 does not work here, but the 9 worked here. Do you guys see the difference? It's all about that line underneath. That means or equal to. So that number works as well. What are your questions for 1 and 2? Alright, let's go down. Let's make it a little smaller, see if we can fit the rest of them. Alright, so number 3, we want the x's that are greater than or equal to 14. So A and C. 10 does not work, 9 does not work. Good. Number 4, we want less than 6. 4 and 5. Good. It's not an or equal to, so B doesn't work, and 10 is obviously not less than 6, so that one doesn't work either. Number 5, less than or equal to -1. A and D. Very good. Remember, when you're working with the negatives, the more negatives you have, the smaller the value. So -4 is actually less than -1. And then it is an or equal to, so -1 works as well. Questions on the front page? Alright, I am only making you graph during the graphing section. So the back of the front should be the only place you're graphing for today. Remember, just a quick little review. If it's less than or equal to, that's when you shade it in. Then you go to the left. If it's greater than or equal to, that's when you shade it in. Then go to the right. Just less than, it's open to the left. And just greater than, it's open to the right. So if you're still struggling with these, I would write this down off to the side just like I did, and then go ahead and study that tonight. So number 6, I'll need 0. You always need 0. It's like a frame of reference for these. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's less than or equal to, so I want to circle the 4 and fill it in since it is an or equal to. And then the numbers that are less than 4 are to the left on your number line. So shade to the left and darken the arrow because it's all the way to the left. All the numbers to the left. Alright, same thing for 7. We want to start with 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here I'm going to circle the 6, but I'm not going to fill it in because it's not or equal to. And I want to show the values that are bigger than 6 or greater than 6. So I'm going to shade to the right. Alright, I'm going to squeeze 8 up there as well. So I have, I'm going to have 0 over here because I'm working with the negatives. -1, -2. You can put some extra numbers on there if you want. It's really up to you. Alright, I'm going to circle the -2 on the number line. Here I am going to fill it in because it's an or equal to. And then I want the x's that are greater than or equal to -2, so that's to the right. So that one's kind of low on your screen if you need to get up and move around or stand up to see that one. I'll leave it up there for a second. I'll have 0. Then I'm going to the negatives. So those are to the left on the number line. I'm going to circle the -3. Fill it in or leave it open? Fill it in. It is an or equal to, so you want to fill it in. And then it's less than, so we want to go to the left. Questions? Alright, next one. 0, 1, 2, 3. circle it, and we want less than, so just to the left. Not or equal to, so don't fill it in. What are your questions? All right, keep moving if you guys don't have anything you want to talk about. Back here, you are just solving. You don't have to graph. So remember, we're using inverse operations to get the x by itself. So here I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. That leaves me with x is greater than 3. Don't have to graph. You're done. All right, how should I start number 12? Add 4, very good. So I'm going to have x is less than 9, very good. 13. Yep, the opposite of subtracting 7 is adding 7, so we're going to add 7 to both sides. So x is less than or equal to 22. All right, number 14. Subtract 6. Yep, we want to undo adding 6, so we're going to subtract 6. So x is greater than or equal to negative 8. Notice I'm not changing any of the signs here. I had a greater than, it was a greater than. I had a less than, it's a less than. I had a less than or equal to, it's a less than or equal to. I had a greater than, it's a greater than. So don't change any of the signs unless, do you remember when we do change the signs? When you multiply or divide by what? A negative number. So we haven't multiplied or divided at all. So that's why none of our symbols are changing. It will kind of change here when we rewrite it. So the answer won't match what it was written as in the problem. But it should still be facing the variable in the same way. So you do kind of flip it when you rewrite it to make the x in the front, but not really. Alright, so this next one, 15, is a little trickier. Hopefully still manageable for you guys. Here, what do we need to do to get the x by itself? Subtract the 1. So I am left with 7 is greater than or equal to x. Do I leave my answer like that? No, I want the x in the front. So just go ahead and rewrite it. X in the front, 7 in the back. Think of it like that hungry alligator. Hungry alligator was eating the 7. What should it be eating now? The 7. You didn't do anything to change the value of x or 7. So if it was eating the 7, it should still be eating the 7. Okay, the 7 was the bigger number. It's still the bigger number. Questions? Now, someone always says, well, what if I leave my answer like this? Will you mark it wrong? I'll take a point off. Alright? These are worth 2 points each, so you still get half the points, but you're not going to get all the points unless you write it exactly in the correct way. Alright, number 16. What should I do? Add 2. So that's x is greater than or equal to 7. Alright, I'm going to pause there. Any questions? Number 17. What should I do? What? Subtract 3. Very good. We want to get rid of that plus 3. We do that by subtracting 3. So the 3's are gone. 4 minus 3 is 1. Keep the less than symbol. X. Can I leave my answer written like that? No. I want the x in the front. So write the x, write the 1, and then figure out what's going on with your sign. X was bigger to begin with. X is still bigger. We haven't done anything to change the value of the x or the 1. So make sure it's still facing whichever variable it should have been facing. Alright? 1 was the smaller one, 1 is still smaller. X is bigger, X is still bigger. Any questions? All right, now we're getting into the multiplying and dividing questions. This is where you have to pay attention to your positives and negatives. If you multiply or divide by a negative, you got to flip the symbol. So number 18, how am I going to get the X by itself? Divide by 2. So X is greater than 5. Number 19, what am I going to do? Divide by 7. So I have X is less than or equal to 3. Number 20. Divide by 2. Multiply by 2. We're already dividing. You don't undo division by dividing, you undo division by multiplying. So the 2's are gone on the left side. We have X is greater than or equal to 20. Alright, number 21. What should I do? Divide by 3. That leaves me with 2 is greater than X. Can I leave my answer like that? No, I want the X in the front and the 2 in the back. The way it was written here, 2 was the larger value. 2 is greater than X. I still want the 2 to be the bigger one. So X is less than 2. Questions on that? Alright, number 22. How am I going to get X by itself? Multiply by negative 4. There should be alarms going off in your head. Woo, woo. You're doing something special here. When you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number, you have to flip your inequality symbol. It was less than or equal to, now it's greater than or equal to. And 3 times negative 4 gives you negative 12. Questions on that one? So we were on 23, right? What am I going to do on 23? I don't even see a number by the X. I am going to divide by negative 1. Yes, when you have a negative sign in front of the X, it's like having a negative 1X. You get rid of multiplying by negative 1 by dividing by negative 1. Anytime you divide by a negative, what happens right here? You flip it. So negative 1 divided by negative 1, that becomes a positive 1X, or just X. Flip your symbol. It was greater than or equal to. Now it's less than or equal to. And a positive 8 divided by a negative 1 is negative 8. That was a tricky one. What are your questions? All right, number 24. What do I need to do to get the X by itself? Multiply both sides by 4. So I'm left with X. Do I flip the symbol? No, I multiplied by a positive 4, so I don't flip anything. What's negative 5 times positive 4? Negative 20. A lot of students want to flip the symbol anytime that a negative is involved at all. Don't be that student, okay? The negative was over here with the 5 on the right side. It's still on the right side. Nothing has changed. We multiplied by a positive number, so don't flip your symbol. All right, go down to number 25. What should I do to both sides? Divide by 9. So I have 9 is greater than X. Can I leave my answer like that? Nope, I want to write the X in the front and the 9 in the back. So what do I need to do? It was opening to the 9. What does it need to be opening to? The 9. You're not changing anything about the values of those numbers. So make sure it's still facing the 9. Your quiz is tomorrow. Is there anything in this review that we need to discuss?